Hello, friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Microbiology Digest. Today, we are going to discuss a completely new part of microbiology, that is the immunology. So, we'll be discussing the immunology, the historical developments, how immunology came into existence as a science, then what is included under immunology and what are the different other aspects of immunology. Now, let us understand first what is immunity. So, immunity, if we say in traditional concept, it refers to the protection against infectious diseases. So, whenever there is protection is desired, that is in traditional concept, it is termed as immunity. The term immunity, it is actually derived from a Latin word. The Latin word is immunis. It means to exempt or to spare. So it refers to the resistance exhibited by the host towards injury caused by microorganisms and their products, thereby making the individual or the host free of the disease. Now, in modern concept, immunity is a function of which an individual recognizes and excludes antigenic foreign substances, and it is normally beneficial, but sometimes it may also be injurious to the host. So this is the modern concept of immunity. Now, immunology. What is immunology? So it is the branch of biomedical science that deals with the response of an organism to antigenic cell lines and its recognition of what is self and what is not. So it basically deals with the defense mechanisms, including all physical, chemical, and biological properties of the host or organism that helps to combat the susceptibility to the foreign agents or infectious agents. So this is in the broader aspects of immunology. So it is an independent subject. It is dealing with mostly about the composition and functions of immune system, mechanisms of immune response, and the diseases that are associated with the immunity. Now, let us understand how this science immunology it has developed. So immunology as a science, it is, we can say it is just 100 years old. But the traditional immunology, it can be traced back, or the concept of immunity can be traced back to the uh, great historian who like Thucydides, so who described plague in Athens. So this was during 430 BC, and later on, the first recorded attempts to induce immunity, this was performed by the Chinese mostly, and the method which they followed, it was known as variolation. This is the first recorded attempt to induce immunity. Variolation is the first recorded attempt to induce immunity to the individuals. So what they did the variolation, they performed the variolation process to make the individual immune from smallpox, which was a very deadly disease during that time. So what they did, they collected the dried crust which were formed from the over the smallpox pustules, and these crust, dried crusts, were either inhaled through the nostrils or inserted in the small cuts of the skin. So this entire process, it was called as variolation. In the year 1718, one lady, her name was Mary Wortley Montagu. So she actually observed the beneficial effects of this process, the variolation process, and see what she did. She applied the technique on her own children, and she further started to popularize the method. Then later on, Edward Jenner in the year 1796. So this variolation technique, it attracted the uh, various scientists throughout the globe, and Edward Jenner, he started to improve the technique of variolation. So what he did, basically, if we want to understand immunology, so immunology developed due to the keen observation made by earlier great workers or scientists. For example, we can take the example of Edward Jenner, who closely observed that during the smallpox disease outbreaks, those individuals or milkmaids who were working with the animals, or who accidentally contracted a similar disease called cowpox, they become subsequently immune to the smallpox disease. So this was the observation of Edward Jenner, and what he did, he collected the fluid from the cowpox lesion, and he thought that this material, if it is uh, injected to a human or other individuals, then it may protect the individual from the smallpox disease. So he wanted to test his idea. So he collected the material, and one 8-year boy he inoculated with the cowpox material. As predicted, the boy did not develop smallpox. This was very interesting. And this inoculation technique of cowpox material to prevent or to make immune from the smallpox disease, it spread very quickly among the scientists. Now, but Edward Jenner was not exactly able to understand or to justify why this is occurring. So he simply observed that milkmaids or who contracted the cowpox disease, they are not suffering from smallpox. So same idea he applied. He collected the cowpox material, and he intentionally infected to a boy. So this was his idea. Now the science of immunology, actually it started after the work of Edward Jenner, but much later than the work of Edward Jenner. Actually, in the although it was born that era, that period can be said as the birth of immunology, but it took momentum to develop as a science. It started during the 19th century only. So what happened during that time, during the 19th century? The magnificent contributions made by Louis Pasteur, Robert Koch, Metchnikoff, So all great scientists, they started the exploring they started exploring the various mechanisms with true justification that can be widely accepted by the throughout the globe. So the science of immunology grew much faster than the earlier pace. So Louis Pasteur, he showed that during his work on fall cholera and anthrax, rabies, he could successfully develop immunity against these diseases in the susceptible individuals or hosts. Then other scientist group also, they started working like Robert Koch, then Bordet, Metchnikoff. They were all working simultaneously in the different field. But in the year 1885, Louis Pasteur, what he did, he administered the first vaccine of rabies. So he administered the first vaccine in the year 1885. The one young boy who was very badly bitten by a rabid dog. So as we all know, rabies, uh, it is a very deadly disease, and Louis Pasteur, he could successfully develop the vaccine against this deadly disease. Then subsequently, different scientific group, they got attracted to the field of immunology, and one by one lot of discoveries were made through the research. So to name few important discoveries along with the year, phagocytosis was discovered by Haeckel, then mast cells were discovered by Paul Ehrlich, then subsequently numerous inventions were made which gave further momentum to the development of the science of immunology. Then all these discoveries which were very much important during that time, and now also this is very very important, and all these discoveries finally, it led to the establishment of this science, of this discipline as a separate one under the microbiology, as a immunology. So these are all different important discoveries made, and some of these discoveries were so much uh, important to understand the basis of various processes involved during the development of immunity. So some of the discoveries where discoverers or scientists were awarded for these notable discoveries, they were awarded with prestigious Nobel Prize. So uh, there are many names who were awarded with Nobel Prize for their important discoveries. So I have listed out few of them, and these discoveries led to the establishment of immunology as a separate discipline. So to summarize today's discussion, so we could understand what is immunology. Just to recall, it is a branch of science that deals with the body's resistance to infection. This is in simple terms. Now, what is mean by immunity? It is it is the body's ability to resist infection. This is the immunity. Now, what is immune system? Immune system of an individual. It consists of various cells and molecules which are involved in the process of development of immunity. So this is a entire all the organs, cells, different components, they are collectively uh, called as the immune system. Now, what is immune response? So it is the reaction of the body. It is the reaction of the body following an exposure to foreign antigen. So whenever an individual will be exposed to a foreign particle, so definitely there will be reaction from the body cells or reactions from the body to eliminate these infections. So this resulting reaction upon exposure to a foreign substance, and which leads to either formation of antibodies or other uh, immunological factors. So this is collectively called as immune response. So with this, this is what I wanted to discuss today. So I hope this information will be helpful for you. And so in subsequent classes, will be subsequent discussions. We'll be discussing the different topics related to the immunology, and one by one, we'll try to cover the entire processes involved in the development of immunity or elimination of the foreign agents or infectious agents from the body. So with this, uh, I'll stop here today, and if you find these informations are helpful for you, please subscribe to my channel, and put your comments and share this one with your friends so that everyone can benefit with the informations included here. So with this, thank you very much. Bye bye.